Well, our next guest is a global futurist and innovation strategist who spends more than 200 days a year travelling around the world. For his expert tips on doing business from a distance and his vision for the future of travel, we are joined by Anders Sorman-Nilsson. Anders, thanks so much for your time. You're joining us from Think. First of all, a global futurist. What does a global futurist do?
Well, us futurists are kind of like reverse historians. We help our clients provide some foresight, insight and hindsight. We help them strategize for their 2020 vision.
Okay, really interesting. So you've advised both Air New Zealand and Delta Airlines on the future of aviation travel. What does the future of travel look like?
Well, I think the first question really should be, what does the future traveller look like? And if business class today is really dominated by people that look a little bit like me, pale, male and stale, we're going to see the emerging nations, the emerging economies dominate business class in the future. Increasingly also we'll see more females in business class as well, as many Asian travellers. And their standards in terms of luxury and in terms of service are on a whole different level than to us traditional pale male travellers.
Talking like digital, teleconferencing and virtual meetings are becoming really popular. So how do you see the future of business travel going in the wake of hotels putting in virtual meeting facilities now?
I think people have been wondering about this digitisation, the fact that increasingly our rational minds are being digitised. But I still believe that enduringly our hearts, our emotional hearts that want to close a deal, have a glass of champagne or a whiskey, are still enduringly analogue. We do want to meet face to face. And as one of my friends says, he works for a big Silicon Valley firm that you'd know, who's a vendor of web conferencing. He says, until we invent such a thing as virtual beers and virtual golf, there is a future of business travel. And I think the fact that I spend 200 days on the road around the world meeting and pressing the flesh is testament to this fact.
Yeah, absolutely. And a handshake as well. You can't do that over a computer screen as well. You mentioned the changing face of business travellers. Asian travellers are going to be a bigger factor in this, obviously, and they probably have more of a taste for luxury than some of the other travellers from around the world. So how does the industry need to change to embrace this?
Well, I think two good places to look at the future of luxury and business class travel is really, firstly, airline lounges. Everything that currently exists in an airline lounge, we are going to expect in the sky. Yeah, and this includes in-flight spas, massages and first-class dining, for example. The other place to look, of course, is to the private jet industries that sort of set the standards when it comes to luxury travel. And increasingly those kind of clients, because of cost factors, might choose to go with a commercial airline instead of a private jet.
I understand you prefer Airbnb style accommodation over hotels, talking about all the luxury things just there. Why do you like why do you like services like Airbnb, and do you like to go and explore cities? Is that your big thing when you get somewhere?
Absolutely. I mean, I was in Chicago just a couple of weeks back, and yes, I stayed 2 nights with my client in one of the top hotels in Chicago, but then I had a couple of nights on my own. And the great thing with Airbnb is that you pretty much are made to feel as if you picked up your very, very successful cousin's keys to his or her apartment, their sort of private loft. And it was just like that when I rented through Airbnb in Chicago. I got a handwritten little list from a person I'd never met. He told me where the milk was in the fridge. It's a no-brainer, right? But just a personal little touch that is so unique and so different from the kind of generic hotels we stay so often in.
Okay, Anders Sorman-Nilsson, founder of Think, thank you so much for joining us. We do really appreciate it.